This is a very fast track. It's also very hot and tiring. It can lead to mistakes. A victory today for this man, Laurent Aiello, and his Peugeot will probably mean the driver's title. Jochen Winkelhock in the BMW needs a victory today in order to stay in the chase for the title. And Emmanuel Pirot wants to repeat his victory in Zweibrücken, but today he's in a front-wheel drive instead of a four-wheel drive. The action's about to start in the Super Touring Car Cup today, coming to you from Salzburg, Austria. Hello everyone, welcome to Salzburg. This is Milt Fitzwater reporting. We're ready for two more races in the Super Touring Car Cup. A full house on hand in a beautiful valley, ready for some top-notch racing as the season winds down. On the pole position, this man, for the seventh time this season, Laurent Aiello. He had the fastest time early and set a new mark with the waning moments of time trial.
The car is very good. This morning we had an engine problem, so we changed it and was much better for the qualifying. We also were together with Jörg, and I think we've made a good choice for the setting also. He worked this morning on one direction and I work on one other direction, and the package was really nice for the qualifying.
When you're setting up, what do you set up for on this track?
There's a fast corner. It's not so easy because there is just one fast corner and all the other corners are slow corners, and for us, understeering corners. So it's difficult to make a compromise between the understeering on the slow corners and the oversteering on the fast. But I think we are right, and at the moment the car is okay.
On the outside pole, Jörg van Omen in the second Peugeot. It's the second time this season he's on the front row. He's looking for his first victory. Could it happen here?
The place would be very nice because the circumstances here on the Salzburg ring are the best on the whole season. And I would like to win, of course. But we don't have to forget that Laurent has to win the championship. And so we have to see that problem first, and we have to solve out that problem first. And maybe when I would lead and the BMW would behind me and then came Laurent, okay, maybe then there's a chance for me to win, but nowhere on no other situation.
And starting in third position, Uwe Alsen in the Opel. He's been challenging all season. Can Opel pick up its first victory of the year? Ivan Müller in the Audi. Two of the front-wheel drive cars that Audi has in the field. He's qualified fourth. Manfred Winkelhock, the man that needs to finish up front, he will be starting fifth. And this man, Kurt Team, will start 11th. What's important here is he crashed the car on Friday. They totally rebuilt it Saturday, and he was able to qualify 11th. Take a look at the course here, 2.6 miles long, 12 laps in the first race, 24 in the second. It's a battle of tires.
I mean, the tires are always a very critical point in the race, because the degradation of the tire during the race distance can be very high. So you have to find along the qualifying setup also a very good race setup, because when you wear the tire so much down, you will struggle in the last 50 kilometers during the race, and the lap times are dropping down a lot.
And the tire companies have their hands full. Dunlop right now with a victory to its credit. Michelin, the tire that's dominated here so far this season. And then of course there's Yokohama. They have the Op team, and they all have their hands full on this very fast circuit. Now it's built in a beautiful valley, and part of the valley is actually right in the middle of the circuit, right next to those pits on the left. This creek runs right down the middle in the lower section of the valley. They have to put the trucks on the right side of the creek, and the pits are on the left side, and then they have to use the bridges to get across into the pit area. And you can see the mountains behind. It's a gorgeous scenery for racing. And this is one young man to watch, 26-year-old Christian Menzel. He certainly is going to be Rookie of the Year in the series, but the season has been good and bad for him.
Okay, in the qualifying was it sometimes good. That was okay. I have most positions was on the top 10, but in the race was it sometimes a little bit unlucky, and I have damage and crashes, and but the most crashes was not my problem. It was a problem that pushed me and other drivers from the track, and okay, that's race, and I'm a new name, and okay, the first season for the all drivers, is it not so nice when is coming a newcomer and say, hi, I'm here? It is hard, yes.
So far, he's had 2 seventh-place finishes, 1 in the sprint, 1 in the race. As a newcomer, does all this attention put more pressure on him?
Yeah, the problem is the respect. I'm new, and nobody has respect for me. That's the problem. But that is for all newcomers a problem. And but when you make respect, the problem is you crash sometimes, and that's not good.
And this man, Emmanuel Pirro in the Audi, won the last race out in Zweibrücken, but today he's starting 14th. The reason is he has to adjust from driving a 4-wheel to a 2-wheel drive Audi.
Well, even if it doesn't look very clever to abandon the Quattro when eventually is winning a race, but this was the plan since the beginning of the season. We had one development car, front-wheel driven by Ivan Müller, of course, and then we had some days when to switch from the Quattro to the front for me, and the latest one was Salzburg ring. So we decided to do it to learn more about the front-wheel driven car. Now, of course, the championship is over, if ever has been open, and so that's where I am.
And that's where these kids happen to be. And the kids are bound here in the Super Touring Car Cup. They're waiting for this man who finally appeared. Ivan Müller from France, the Audi driver. He came to sign all the autographs they wanted. And what's interesting is he signed just about everything available. And the kids, well, they knew who they wanted. That's the entire Audi team. And this youngster, well, he has just about everything you could imagine. Also some different types of spectators here. This is farm country where this valley is, and all the way around you find plenty of cows. Saw them there during qualifying, not necessarily there today for races. Who knows, maybe they are. But these folks certainly are ready for racing. 28 cars ready to go. On the right, Laurent Aiello, the man everyone's chasing. On the left, his teammate, Jörg van Omen. The sprint race, 12 laps, and we're underway. And it looks like Aiello gets away good here, but so does Jochen Winkelhock in the BMW. Now, the BMW is a rear drive car and gets a better start, and it looks like Winkelhock on the left-hand side has the jump here in Salzburg. And the two Peugeots, once again, off to a bad start in comparison with their front-wheel drive cars. Next year, they have to all be front-wheel, but this year, BMW takes advantage of the rear-wheel drive they have, at least at the start. So BMW is out in front, followed by the two Peugeots and the rest of the field of the Super Touring Car Cup. First race of the day here at the Salzburg Ring outside of Salzburg, Austria. There's your leader, Jochen Winkelhock in the BMW. He simply needs to win to stay in the driver's points race. He's the only one you can hope to catch the man you're riding with, Laurent Aiello. This is the second place car. You're looking at the first place car. You can see the change of surface here. This corner taken wide open at first, coming around a long right-hander around the garage area. And Aiello right away gets by. Laurent Aiello did not wait. He took him on the long, extended right-hand curve. They now go into a series of short left and right-handers as they head toward the start-finish line. But Laurent Aiello in his Peugeot has taken the lead and taken it early. So Winkelhock has dropped back to second, and right on his back bumper is Jörg van Omen in the second of the Peugeots. And Van Omen wants to get by, but he can't. Behind them is the Opel of Bartels, followed by another Opel of Alsen. So the Opel's running well here, going fourth and fifth, but the battle is up front for second and third as Aiello starts to pull away a little bit. Peugeot had felt they had advantage here. It's a fast course, and their car is set for this type of a course. If he does well here with 2 races to go, he could have the championship pretty much in his back pocket. It won't be totally sewn up, but he certainly will be on a great track to be there. And if Van Omen can get by Winkelhock and shove him back a spot or two, well, that means Aiello picks up more points. There are less points given in the sprint because it's half the distance than there are in the feature, but every point here counts. Once again, in that long right-hander, taken wide open at first. And then you start coming down here. It's all around the pit area of the valley, and this is truly built along the sides of the valley. What happens now is you come out toward the start-finish line, you're going to be going downhill. You go through the series of chicanes, head on to the straightaway, the pit's on the left, and now it goes downhill. Everybody's straightening out here as the Opels continue to hold on to 4th and 5th place. Looks like the Audi is then running in the 6th slot. It is. Miller is running 6th. But there are your leaders, the top 3, Peugeot, BMW, and then another Peugeot. Behind them come the Opels, which have come on strong here in the last couple of races, particularly thanks to the performance of Uwe Alsen, who's running 5th right now. Then there's the first Audi. It is the front-wheel drive car. The four-wheel drive cars don't have quite the same get up and go on this course as the two-wheel drive car does. Let's see if Van Omen can get by. He's certainly trying hard. He wants to get by not only because he wants to have a chance if something goes wrong for his teammate Laurent Aiello to take a victory, but he also wants to make sure Winkelhock gets shoved back. Right now there is team driving, and look at that. Alsen has gotten by Bartels. Alsen right now is the top man in points as far as Opel's concerned. They may have let him by, he may have gotten by, but it makes no difference. Uwe Alsen, who's come on strong here, is now running 4th. So Opel has one of their top guns running right behind the top 3. This is a great course. Cars get up to about 155 miles an hour right here at the end of this straight, 250 kilometers. They head into a chicane. Aiello already setting the fastest lap. This man has controlled the fast lap category also this season. Then comes this long sweeping right-hander. And after they come out of this right-hander, it's uphill. It starts out gradually and then the increase continues till they get up to the corner that's taken wide open to the right. Right now they're headed toward that. It's all uphill. The fans are on the sides of the valley here looking down on the race course. You can see the hill climb here. It's a little bit more obvious to you. Van Omen wants to get by Winkelhock, but Winkelhock is going to shut the door on him. He shut the door on him going around the right-hander. That's the one that's taken wide open. That's the one the drivers simply have to have plenty of nerve and go at it. Here comes Van Omen again, and once again, Winkelhock shuts the door. For Winkelhock, it's a very serious day. He simply has got to come home with, well, quite frankly, with at least a victory. He needs points. But Aiello is pulling away from him. And there is Gabriele Raffanelli, the team of the Bugazzi team, who puts together the BMW of Joachim Winkelhock. You can see that really the difference between Van Omen and Winkelhock is very, very small. Here comes Van Omen again, but he still can't get inside. Winkelhock is very, very difficult to pass. He is an aggressive driver, but he also knows how to make that BMW as wide as possible on this course. There's Uwe Alsen in the Opel running 4th. He gets to have the grandstand view of all this attempts by Van Omen to get by Winkelhock. Bartels has settled back into 5th slot, but look at him. Alsen has moved right up there. He's ready to take advantage of any mistake by Van Omen or Winkelhock or both. Alsen has been the driver for everybody this season. He has brought the Opel team up to the front. He has had a 2nd place finish. That was in the feature in Wunsdorf. And that's the best that Opel has been able to do. Right now, Michel Bartels running 5th. That's the highest he's been able to run this season. So this is a good day for both drivers, and yet Opel, of course, still won't consider it a good day until they have a chance for victory, of course. Bartels, his best finishes are 8th in a sprint and 9th in a feature. There's Joachim Winkelhock, and he's telling Van Omen which side to go. He's signaling Van Omen, and here comes Van Omen. So Winkelhock knew he couldn't hold him off anymore and let him by. The Peugeot is simply faster on the straight, and Winkelhock knew he couldn't hold him off much longer, but now Winkelhock is going to have to hold off Alsen. He needs to pick up at least third place points here. And Uwe Alsen, one of the younger drivers in the field, certainly putting the pressure on one of the veterans. Alsen made a name for himself, first in the Porsche Carrera Cup, and then he got into the German Touring Car Championship and the International Touring Car Championship. Did very well there, made a good name for himself, very aggressive young driver. And now he's doing the same thing for Opel in this 2-liter class Super Touring Car Cup. We're staying right with this group because this is the most important group. This is where it's all at. And there's your leader, Laurent Aiello. A little bit of breathing room. The Frenchman in control once again. Kind of shakes his head every time you ask him about the starts because he simply can't get the Peugeot off the line as quickly as this man, Jochen Winkelhock, can get his BMW off the line. And so he has to fight his way through. And Van Omen, you can see the power of the Peugeots here. Van Omen also starting to put a little distance between himself and Winkelhock. Now the tactics here in the sprint race are really quite simple. You want to do as well as you can and push as hard as you can, but you don't want to overdo it. The reason is, of course, you want to start the second race, which has even more points in it. So the object is to finish as best you can, bring the car home whole so that it's perfect for the setup in the feature race. And we have a car going off. Looks like one of the Audis going off. So Alsen fourth, Bartels is fifth. It's a great day for Opel already if they can stay in those positions. Boy, is Aiello pulling away. It doesn't look like Michel Bartels is going to be pushing his teammate very much. There's Leopold van Bayern. He's got problems. Looks like tire problems up front. Something probably bent a little bit into the tire. He's going to have to take that into pits. He's in, the oldest driver in the field, 54 years old. The Prince has been in touring car racing a long time in Germany and around Europe. Laurent Aiello continues to run away. Van Omen hasn't quite put the same distance between himself and the competition as Aiello has, but he's doing it slowly but surely. And Winkelhock really has this rear view mirror filled of Uwe Alsen, and Alsen gets inside and goes by. So the fans of Opel are going to be charging home, and here you're riding with Winkelhock as you can see Alsen right ahead of him. Boy, it's a tough day for Jochen. He needs the points, and it's just not in there in this fast circuit. Now he's going to have Bartels behind him. Bartels is even blinking him, saying, hey, I'm here, I'm coming by. But you're going to have to work to get by Jochen Winkelhock. So Uwe Alsen running third here at the Salzburg Ring in Austria. First race of the day, the Super Touring Car Cup. Winkelhock settling into fourth, but he's going to hold off Bartels. Alsen had problems in the beginning of the season. He had a 9th, a 26th, two 15th places. Then he jumped up to 6th place at the Nürburgring. Then his first big success for the Opel team as the development continued on those cars. He finished third twice at the Sachsenring. Then he had a bad race at the Norrisring, finishing 25th and 12th. He had an early start there, and that kind of handicapped him. And then he had to fight his way through in the second race and ended up 12th. Then in Wunsdorf, he came back with a third place finish in the sprint, a second place in the feature. So he has kept Opel's hopes alive and brought them to the front, qualifying well and finishing well. All they need now is to pick up that one victory, but right now he's probably going to be happy if he can bring home third and then battle up into the feature race, which is 24 laps. This one is 12 laps. Winkelhock may have been a little easy on the other twos going by, but I don't think he's going to be too easy on Bartels. He's got to hold on here. He just can't afford not to. And there comes the Muller and the young Christian Menzel that we talked about. Muller in the top of the Audi crew. Well, no, that's Johnny Ciccato right behind him. Johnny Ciccato, the teammate from Jochen Winkelhock, is right behind Muller. And behind Ciccato, then comes Christian Menzel, the young rookie we heard from at the beginning of the show. So the BMWs right now are running 7th and 8th. Interestingly enough, the Menzel BMW is not a factory entry. And he's running right up there in what I believe is 8th place. Yes, 8th place right now. You can see him coming around. There he is right there. That's Christian Menzel. He has Kurt Thiem right behind him in another of the Opels. So the rest of the field also sorting itself out here. There come the Hondas. Marco Werner in one of the two factory Hondas. There's the other one on the behind him, about 2 or 3 places back. He's actually 2 places back is Alfred Hager. Manuel Reuter is sandwiched between the 2 Hondas. Reuter in an Opel. He won the International Touring Car Championship last year, and so far this year he's had a so-so season in the Super Touring Car Cup. Right now he's sandwiched in between the 2 Hondas, and they're running back in the pack just a little bit of a ways. They're running, let's see, they're running 10th, 11th, and 12th at this point. Reuter has finished in the top groups, but not often. There's Tamara Vidali. She has gone off and parked the car. Something wrong with her Audi. So she's going to have to wait. She'll be starting at the back of the pack if they can get it fixed in the feature race later on. The top 2 remain the same. Alsen remains in 3rd. Then comes Winkelhock Bartels. Then comes Muller. Then comes Cicotto, followed by Menzel, and then Kurt Thiem and the rest of the pack. There comes one of the Nissens. They too have had their work cut out for them this year. What they've decided to do is they're going to continue to work with the car they have now and see if they can't get ready and not even worry about putting a new 97 car out. They're taking the 96 car, using it as a development car, and then in 98 next year they want to bring out the brand new car and have it ready to go. The Nissens are entered by the Keke Rosberg team, and they just simply decided we got to do a lot of research, a lot of development work, and so we'll pay the price this year, but watch out next year. Take a replay here. You can see some rubber coming up either off the track or off the tires, and that's the car of Christian Menzel. But there's your battle once again back in the pack between the Hondas and the Opel. The battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Alfred Hager putting the pressure on. And right behind Hager comes Emmanuel Pirot. And his first drive in competition in the front-driven car instead of the four-wheel drive car, which he had so much success in with at Zweibrücken, the last race that we were at. But now he's having to work in the new car. But as he mentioned, the championship for him is over with. He doesn't have much of a shot at it, so they've got to start looking ahead to next year also. Christian Menzel being literally tracked down by one of the true veterans of European touring car racing, Kurt Thiem from Denmark. Gianni Giudici made an appearance for Alfa Romeo here today. The car is parked. He has motor problems, so his day is over with. He is substituting, or was substituting, for Frank Smickler, who is off in a different series this weekend. He has a championship chance in that series, so he went to race there, and they brought in Giudici to take his car here at the Salzburg ring. But Alfa Romeo has its share of problems. We'll talk a little bit more about that between the races. But right now, that's the man of the hour, Laurent Aiello. It's simply amazing how he has done it. Picked up the victory, no problems whatsoever. First race of the day goes to Laurent Aiello here at the Salzburg ring. There it is, your top 10, and look at that. The Opels were 3rd and 5th. The top Audi was 6th, but today belonged to Laurent Aiello.
I didn't expect to have Winkelhock in front of me in the first corner, but I took the chance to overtake him on the first lap. It was nicer overtaking than Zweibrücken. I'm very happy about it.
Also very happy has to be Uwe Alsen and the Opel crew. Alsen coming home in 3rd place for the 4th time this season.
I think yes. We are on the 3rd place, good position for the race, and I hope that we make 1 place or 2 places in front. And it is really not so easy to drive. We have here conditions, it's very hot, and I think that we become problem in the race with the tires in the front. and we must see. We have a big understeer in the sprint, and we must see for the race.
And so the mechanics go to work to get the cars ready for the feature race of the day, and while they do that, that gives us a chance to take a look at one of the drivers in the field. Alfa Romeo driver Stefano Modena has had a tough season in a car that's not competitive. He finished 19th in the sprint. He's a driver who's not used to driving in the back of the pack. He's used to running up front.
My philosophy about racing and my style of race changed a lot between the years. I mean, since when I was racing in Formula One and till now, I changed a lot my mentality for the race. First of all, because I get older, so I think differently, and second, because this race are different race, are from let's say single-seat cars. It doesn't mind me to race, to start the race in 15 or 20 position and do the race against the other. I consider other people, other driver, same as me. So it can be a season where you don't have a good car, and so you have to stick with the position back on the back of the grid. I think that for a driver, the important thing is to have the race, the challenge, the emotion of the practice and the start and the fight between other drivers. I think it's an important thing. It doesn't matter if it's in 15 or 20 or first position. Obviously, everyone comes here for winning, to win, and me too. But when you realize that to win is difficult and it's not easy, you just concentrate yourself to get the best as you can out from the car and the best as you can out from the race.
And of course, the Alfa Romeo fans and Modena himself hope that next season Alfa Romeo will be a full factory entry and he'll be able to run up front once again. This young man's ready for some more racing, and so are we. Cars line up, 27 to start. Giudice's car will not start the feature race, 24 laps here at the Salzburg ring. High-speed racing. On the right side, Peugeot, that of Laurent Aiello. On the left, Van Oomen. But let's see what happens if Jochen Winkelhock can get another great start. He's behind Van Oomen, and he cuts to the middle in the BMW. And look at that, he cuts right straight through. What a great start by Jochen Winkelhock. He left the Peugeots behind. They just don't have the capability of a good start. None of those two-wheel drive, front drive cars have a great start, and that rear-wheel drive BMW gets the jump every time. But as we said, next year they all got to be front-wheel drive cars. And so Aiello, who has had a terrible start, is back in 6th position, it looks like. His teammate Van Oomen is running up in the 2nd or 3rd slot. He is running 2nd. So there's your leader, Winkelhock. Then comes Van Oomen and Bartels in the Opel and the rest of the field. Wow, what a great start. Cecotto then comes along, and it's now Laurent Aiello running next to Cecotto. This is the battle for 4th place. Cecotto has not been a factor in this. What he is going to be a factor in is the manufacturer's point race, because he's bringing the car in for points. But the man that's got to win is the one that's out in front, Jochen Winkelhock. Back in the pack, you're riding with Aiello. He's trying to move up on Cecotto and move up in the field. He does get by him. So Laurent Aiello, who won the first race, started on the pole, had a terrible start, dropped back to 6th, is now up into what appears to be 4th place. There he is, the yellow Peugeot. His teammate, Jörg Van Oomen, running 2nd. Your leader is Jochen Winkelhock. So Winkelhock took advantage of a great start, has the lead, but can he hold off the Peugeots? He couldn't do it in the first race. Can he do it in the second one? The other question here certainly will be the tires. These cars and drivers are allowed 10 tires for qualifying and the 2 races. So they try to conserve the tires as best they can and have a fresh set if possible for the feature race. But that's all the tires they're allowed. And this is going to be a fast, long race with 24 laps, up around 100 kilometers, or 60 miles. So they're going to have to conserve tires, but the rate they're going right now, nobody wants to conserve, everybody wants to hold position. There's your leader, Winkelhock. Then comes Van Oomen. Then it's Bartels running third. And Uwe Alsen, who also had done well, had a miserable start, is now battling Johnny Ciccarro to move up in the pack. And Laurent Aiello is taking over third place. Laurent Aiello is now taking over third, and it wouldn't be a bit surprised here if Jorg van Olmen moved over and let him get by so that he has a chance to attack Winkelhock. Van Olmen has to be the man to protect the points leader. The points leader is Laurent Aiello. And a car is spun out. That is Alfred Hager. Alfred Hager in the Honda has spun out and hit the wall very hard. And the car is parked just off the course. Hager has had a great season for himself here, and this will not make him any happier. Van Olmen now trying to battle Winkelhock but can't take him. At least not yet. Winkelhock holds off Jorg van Olmen. Now they're going into one of the fastest part of the courses as they head up the hill, and they get to the top of the hill before the wide open left-hander. They'll get up to over about 250 kilometers, at least 155 miles before they have to start braking. You got Winkelhock holding off the two Peugeots. Michel Bartels is running fourth. And once again, here comes Aiello. He gets by Van Olmen. Van Olmen got out of the way because this is the man that's got to go for the points. You get a look at Jorg van Olmen. He will now settle in and try to hold off all the rest of the competition so that Laurent Aiello can make an attack on Jochen Winkelhock. Here's what happened to Alfred Hager. It looks like he got off the course, may have had a tire problem. Whatever it was, he spun, hit the guardrail, and he's off. He's okay, but the car is certainly in bad shape. Here comes Aiello challenging Winkelhock. Let's see if he can get by him. Whoa, Winkelhock is holding with him. That was the lower corner, the Knockstein curve. So now they're going to go into the uphill section. The next chance will be at the top of the hill going into the fast right-hander. If it doesn't have to there, they'll have to wait till the end of the straightaway. Here we come, up the hill. Here comes Aiello. Where is he going to try again? That's probably what Winkelhock is thinking. Winkelhock really, I would say, probably is saying, well, I know he's faster. I've got to hold him off as long as I can, hoping that Laurent Aiello will use up his tires quicker, trying to get by him. The more he can force Aiello to try to force his tires to work more, going left or right or trying to get by, the better the chances that Aiello may have tire problems who you're riding with right now later in the race. And if that happens, then Winkelhock will have a chance again. And that's how important the tires are here at the Salzburg ring. And we now have the safety car out. The safety car has come out. They're going to have to get the Alfred Hager car off the track. He's in a position where coming out of the corner, someone could hit him. And so the safety car will come out, and they're going to have to get the Hager car off the track. And the way you do it is you lift it off and put it on the truck. So the Alfred Hager Honda goes off. That leaves Marco Werner as the only remaining car. Took about 4 laps. We're back to racing here at the Salzburg ring. And Winkelhock is back out in front, and he once again has Laurent Aiello all over his back bumper. And Jorg van Olmen is also right up there. Nobody is letting off. And Aiello gets by him. No, he doesn't. Wow, what a great move by Winkelhock. It looked like Aiello had taken him, and then Winkelhock came back on the inside. What a great move. This is by far one of the best sets of racing we've seen all season long. This is the first direct confrontation between these two. The race in Zweibrücken was also very exciting, but for a different reason. It was Audi that came home with the victory. They had the four-wheel drive. The tire was giving out, and the four-wheel drive helped them, and Pirro was able to pass late in the race for the victory. And this one here, you've got a very important battle simply because these two men want the points. Winkelhock needs him to stay in competition, and Laurent Aiello, running second, wants all the points he can get to put some distance between himself and Winkelhock. Two very tough drivers. They also had a rather difficult altercation in Zweibrücken. Winkelhock had gotten a great start. Aiello came up, and they sort of bumped a little heavier than expected going into the corner as Aiello got by him. That was in the sprint, and Winkelhock was not happy at all. They did apologize, and they're back racing again. But right now, you probably have to think about that as far as Aiello is concerned. If he makes another rough pass, how that's going to be. Of course, when the time comes, you're going to make the pass as best you can. But the pass in Zweibrücken was as hard as you probably could expect. They got into the doors. Well, it's now between them. Jörg van Olmen has dropped back. Something's wrong with the Peugeot of Jörg van Olmen. He has dropped back. Everybody is going by him. So the protection car for Laurent Aiello is dropping out. It's now up to Aiello alone. He's not out, but he's certainly slowing down. Here comes Aiello again. And what's also a key here is, what's interesting is, the Peugeot of Laurent Aiello is in the Drivers' Championship lead. But BMW, because of the good finishes of the top cars, the top two cars, is leading in the points. Before the season, the teams had to signify which two cars would run for the Manufacturers' Championship, which would run for team championships. The Drivers' Championship is open to everybody. And so BMW picked Winkelhock and Cecotto, and Cecotto running back is picking up points. And if Van Olmen cannot come back and do well, Peugeot's only two entries are those two cars, so BMW could once again pick up some valuable points here. And now Aiello is by, or is he? No! Winkelhock does it again. Same place, same action, and there's Jochen Winkelhock. He's got a Peugeot in both mirrors, and he held him off again. What a great move. Here you get a look at that uphill section. It must be frustrating for Laurent Aiello. He is putting the pressure on. This is some fine racing by these drivers, and look at that. The Opels are now starting to close in. Whether they want to get in on this action or watch it for a while, that's another question. Everybody kind of has to wonder about their tires a little bit. And out of that fast corner, now heading down the hill. Be a series of short curve chicanes, and then the long straightaway once again. Aiello has tried just about everything to get by Winkelhock, and Winkelhock used the curve, the car literally bouncing in the air. Jörg van Olmen's Peugeot in the pits, they're working on it. The crew letting Aiello know what's going on, but he knows what's going on. Right in front of him is the man he's got to get by, and he can't do it yet. He's done just about everything, but he can't do it. Bartels is running third in the Opel, and behind him is Uwe Alsen. So Alsen, who had a miserable start, is back up to fourth place. But right here is where the battle is. And you get to sit front seat on a Sunday drive in Austria. The camera cars today are Winkelhock and Laurent Aiello. You're getting a front seat view of this one. Aiello not only has to contend with the fact he wants to get by Winkelhock, but look how close Bartels now is pulled up on his back bumper. And Uwe Alsen is sitting right there. He's certainly ready to say, okay, if somebody makes a mistake, I'm going to jump in here. And he will. Johnny Cecotto is back in the packaways. He is running now fifth, but as we said, he'll be perfect for points for BMW, looking for the Manufacturers' Championship. Then comes the first of the Audis. Ivan Müller. But all attention right now is because this is the tightest race we've seen all season. They have been going at it like this from the start, after the great start by Jochen Winkelhock and the miserable start by Laurent Aiello, who dropped all the way back to sixth. He's worked his way up to second after winning the first race. Has to be extremely frustrating for him. Where does he make the pass? That's where he's tried a couple of times, and Winkelhock has held him off. Up the hill to high-speed corners. Aiello in the first race made the pass very quickly and very simply on the very first lap on the inside of the very fast, wide-open corner here. But he has not been able to make that move here yet in the second race. They're coming up to it again. change of surface. Wide open here. Now the shift's down. Winkelhock holding on to that lead. Here comes Alsen, and Uwe Alsen is getting by Michel Bartel. So Uwe Alsen, who finished third in the first race, has now moved into third again here in the second race. But as we mentioned, he had a terrible start. Dropped way back in the field and now is by. This could also be a tactical move as far as Opel's concerned, because Alsen is the points man for them right now as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, and for the Manufacturers' Championship. He's carrying that banner also. Bartels is in the team championship for the individual teams, not the manufacturers. Here comes Aiello again. He wanted to go outside. The experience of Jochen Winkelhock has simply held off the Frenchman. That's all there is to it. Jochen, driven touring cars most of his life. He did some Formula racing, went to England to drive touring cars, says it was a great experience, came back with a lot of knowledge that he said he wouldn't have had otherwise. He's back in the German series, which is actually several races around Europe, besides Germany. And he's proving to be extremely tough. Here we go again. Where is Aiello going to find a place to pass? After a while, you have to get sick and tired of looking at that back bumper. Your third and fourth place cars remain the same. In fact, the rest of the field is pretty much the same as what we've been saying all along. Chicaro's fifth, then comes Miller, and then comes the Christian Menzel. He's running seventh, the rookie. Once again, Gabriele Raffanelli. He's just watching and wondering. A great performance by Jochen Winkelhock in a car that everyone knows is not as powerful as the Peugeot. And he's held off the Peugeot. Amazing. Here's the short chicane that sets up into the Nockstein curve. Here goes Aiello again. This time is where he tried to get by him. Look at that! Winkelhock does it again. Winkelhock will just not give up. Amazing. And once again, Aiello has to look at that back bumper. And Uwe Alsen has Bartels behind him, but he has the front seat view to all this going on. He just kind of waits to see what happens. He's hoping someone makes a mistake or they get a little wobbly or something and he can get by. But right now, they're not making any mistakes, and Jochen Winkelhock is doing a superb job of driving. He's literally holding off the block. Oh, and Marco Werner. We look back in the back here. Marco Werner in the other Honda is spun out. Looks like he bumped a little bit with Emmanuel Pirro. So he'll drop back. It'll be another difficult day for Honda. He'd been running around 8th position and drops way back at the field after that spin. Aiello in the slipstream. He hasn't been able to use it though. Here we go again. Outside? Well, let's find out. Again to the outside. Is he going to drop behind and cut inside? He wants, nope, no way. Once again, Jochen Winkelhock. Great season so far. Right now he's got his hands full though. 2 victories in sprint races, 4 victories overall this season. He's only had 2 did not finishes. The rest of the time he's been in the points. He's been right up there. It looked at one point as if his teammate Johnny Ciccardo might get favorite treatment because he was leading the points after the second race of the season, but then Aiello took over. Ciccardo had a couple of difficult races. Winkelhock finished way up front and won the races he needed to win. He had a real streak of wins. And so he was the one that was put in the place for the factories to say, okay, well, this is the man we're going to have to go with to see if he can pick up the points. There are only 2 races remaining this season. The airport course in Lars and then the Nürburgring. Even if Laurent Aiello did win today, there's still going to be chances that Winkelhock could take the title. Even if it stays as close as it is now, Aiello will have a big lead. But it is not a sewed-up deal. And Aiello could have the same problems in future races or even here that his teammate Jörg van Omen had, drop back. Winkelhock could finish up front and catch up real quick. Right now, though, you just kind of have to wonder what's going through Laurent Aiello's mind. Probably both are thinking a little bit about the tire situation, wondering if the other car is having tire wear that's going to affect them or not. Tire wear certainly would have a major effect here, although both cars seem to be going extremely well. Nobody's showing any sign of wear and tear. The man that probably has used up as much as any is a man you're riding with, Laurent Aiello, as he's tried to pass every which way, including outside. The left front takes a tremendous amount of pressure here at this course because the high-speed corner is on the left and the corner at the bottom of the hill is on that left front. That's the one that's going to create problems, if there are going to be any problems at all. Look at this. They have run like this throughout this entire event. Bartels pulls out to the right, but he's not going to be able to pull up on Uwe Alsen. Alsen sitting back there in third position. Alsen really has not been a factor as far as the lead's concerned. He's been a factor as far as Opel is concerned. He's been their big man with the points. Whoa, you can see there a little bit of understeer on Winkelhock's car. He had to make a correction. Well, here we go. Let's see what happens. Up the hill again. This quartet has run together since the beginning of the race. It just can't go on like this much longer. Somebody's got to give. We're coming up on the three-quarter mark. Aiello has not had to battle this hard all season long. Overall, he's got 7 victories, 8 with the victory in the sprint race. He has 5 sprint victories. He has 3 feature victories. He only had 1 did not finish, and that was the second race at the Norris Ring. The rest of the time, can you believe the man has not finished worse than 4th place, and he only did that once. He finished 3rd twice. The rest of the time have either been 2nd or 1st. He and his Peugeot have been a dominant force. Right now, the dominant force has run into a seemingly immovable object in Jochen Winkelhock. Maybe now. No, way outside, unless he wants to cut inside to get by, but it isn't going to work. Winkelhock won't let him do that. What was amazing is how easily Winkelhock was able to hold a position. He looked like he lost it going into the Knockstein curve and then ducked inside and kept it. Once again, we head up the hill here at the Salzburg ring in Salzburg, Austria. Milt Fitzwater reporting from the Super Touring Car Cup. Second race of the day. 2 races to go in the season. The championship is still open, and the 2 cars you're looking at are the ones battling for all the money. Jochen Winkelhock. We've seen a lot of that rear bumper. You're riding with Laurent Aiello in his Peugeot. Aiello has kept the pressure on, hoping that he might be able to force Winkelhock to make a mistake or put more pressure on his tires. And of course, Winkelhock is hoping that Aiello, because he's trying to put the pressure on, will wear down his tires, particularly that left front. Right now, there just is no room. Look at this. Winkelhock literally just said, hey, I'm going to stop you no matter which way you go. But here he comes. Here comes Aiello again. He's got the line this time, and he's got a little breathing room. Okay, they go into the corner. This is where Winkelhock has cut inside on him and taken the lead back. Can he do it this time? He's inside, but not enough. Laurent Aiello has finally taken the lead on the 19th lap. Laurent Aiello takes the lead, and he will hold the lead all the way down to the very last lap. In fact, he'll pull up a little bit of space between himself and the rest of the field. And Laurent Aiello will come home the victor after a race-long duel with Jochen Winkelhock. There they are, the top 2 putting on the show, but Opel finishing 3rd, 4th, and 9th. What a great day. Audi was 6th, but Laurent Aiello is the big winner.
Tougher than before, than the other races, but it was difficult for me to overtake Joe because he has a very good engine, and I didn't want to take too much risk, but it was really good fun, and Joe is a very good driver, and it was a very good fight together.
Winkelhock comes in for the 4th time second. He is now second in the points. He still has a chance. It was simply just too much Aiello today.
Now I know why I get such a lot of money. No, it was a really good race. Of course, to be realistic, I know already from the beginning it would be not possible to win the race. But I expect this was the reason when I tried so hard and blocked sometimes Laurent Aiello, because I expect that his tire went off in the last few laps, but it wasn't. But so far, I must say, with the second place, I'm really happy. Because before we didn't expect to be in the top 3.
The man that also has to be happy is Uwe Olsen with third place for Opel.
Oh, I'm absolutely happy with my place, with the result. The result was absolutely okay. My start was a very bad start, but the race was okay. After the pace car or safety car phase, you know, we become a lot of problems with the tires, the front tires, and I'm absolutely. In this time, I'm not sure if the tires are okay. And Bartels pushed very hard from behind, and I must give the maximum. And it was a nice race. I like this race with a good fight, but a very hard race for the car, for the tires, for all things.
Next stop on the tour, the airport course in Lahr, Germany. Another Peugeot BMW matchup is certainly to be on the docket. So that does it for our coverage of the racing here in Salzburg Ring. This is Milt Fitzwater reporting. We hope you enjoyed all the racing here in Austria, and will join us in Lahr.